Welcome everybody from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. It's great to have you here today. Once again, we're going to continue to look at our urban parking system that's been designed and developed in Enterprise Architect. Lately, we've been looking at requirements modeling and management, and we've developed a whole series of videos looking at everything from project management and change management and much more. We're going to continue that today, and we're going to be looking at requirements documentation. And I know documentation is something that people find very valuable in Enterprise Architect. My name's Scott Hebbard. I'm joined today by Stephen Maguire. Welcome, Stephen. What can you tell us about requirements documentation and how you go about it in Enterprise Architect?
Thanks for the introduction, Scott. Always a pleasure to be here. Yes, an important and interesting topic. And I know that in certain organizations, when a line manager or a technical manager says to a staff member, I need you to create documentation for this project, for these requirements, the person usually tries to run away or to hide under their desk somewhere, because it's not something that is particularly easy for people to do. But the great news is that with Enterprise Architect, it is really just a press of a button or just a few clicks, and you're going to have first-class, professional-looking documentation directly out of your repository. So, Scott, let's make a start. In the top right-hand corner, we've got our perspectives, and that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to set a perspective there. I've been doing some wireframe modeling for some mobile apps in Enterprise Architect. I'm going to change perspectives there. And I've got a number of different perspectives here. I've got the publishing one. We've got document publishing, dashboards and charts. Let's just choose document publishing for the moment. The tool changes its focus, brings up the builder page, and we've got all sorts of different examples here. And today we're going to be looking at a particular way to create documents, and there are a number of other ways here as well, all that have their particular uses within the tool and a particular problem that provides the context for the documentation you want to create. I like to do things from first principles, Scott, but there are a whole lot of patterns in here for you to look at and use. So I encourage people to do that, inject them into your model using the Create Model button and get the productivity gains that come with that. I like to do things from first principles, so I'm going to close the builder page there and look at my repository. So we have been looking at the payment subsystem requirements, and we're going to return to that particular branch of the repository now. We can see that we've got a number of different types of requirements: architectural, functional, user, regulatory, security requirements. And we've done that in previous videos. If you're unclear about how to create those different types of requirements, you can go back and look at the previous videos, and I encourage you to do that. We're going to look at our functional requirements today. So as always, Scott, an important part of the tool is choosing the element or the package that is the context for your work. So we're going to choose functional requirements. Let's just go and have a look in this package and understand exactly what's in here. I'm going to slide this across a little bit to make a little bit more room. And you can see here that we have a diagram and then three high-level requirements. So payment processing and methods, user management and communication, systems, operation integration, and then they go down into sub-levels as well. So we've got three levels of requirements there, and that's quite common for a large project or a project of any significant size. So let's open up this diagram and have a quick look at it. It's a nested diagram. We're using this nesting that's in the project browser, the hierarchy in the project browser, and that's being reflected here in the diagram. And you can see, this is the outer one, and then the inner ones have also got elements in them as well. So let's get cracking with our document and see how easy it is to do. Let's close that for a minute. And again, we select our functional requirements package. We're simply going to go to our publish ribbon, which is close to the end there, and we've got this model reports. So people call them different things: reports, documentation, publications. The result is going to be the same. Probably just the formality of the document is what's going to be there. Now I can click on this custom document, but before I do that, I'm going to put in a package that's going to contain my document. So it's going to be inside this requirements there, and I'm going to call it requirements publications, but you could call it requirements documentation as well. Requirements publication. I'll call it requirements publications. And because we might have a number of them, I'm going to just create the package only there. It's gone into the package.
We're just doing one on functional requirements, but later on you might do it on user requirements and security requirements, and
exactly
have a document for each. So
yeah, and you might have a technical document versus a business and strategic document. So with that package created, we have a location to place our new document in. I'm simply going to go up here and click custom document, and so you can see there that what's going to happen is we want to have a document name. Now, before we do this, Scott, I want to just go back again. This is from first principles, and show you the sort of background of what we need to do. We want our document to look professional, and so let's go and look at some of the templates that we've got available. So we're going to cancel this. We'll come back to this create template, but that's where we're headed. But before we do that, let's go into our resources tab of the browser window, and you can see here that we've got a number of different document templates. We've got custom templates, we've got document templates there, we've got these document guides there, and we're going to create a new template. And so what I'm going to do here, Scott, is just simply go create template, and I'm going to call it requirements, spell that right, requirements overview. Yeah, and let's not copy a template at the moment. We could copy an existing template, and let's not worry about the group. We can show that in a little bit. So I'm going to say OK to that. Now I get a blank, a blank canvas there, and I'm just going to I've got something in my buffer here, and you can do this yourself. I'm just wanting to save time. You can obviously just go and create these things yourself, and we're going to use this requirements here, requirements heading. We'll put our own heading in there in a minute, but let's just leave that there, and let's save that and close it. And you can see now that where are we? It's that requirement overview there, and it's gone up there. I'm going to rename it, Scott. I'm going to just call it requirements publications, because I changed my mind about what I'm going to do. So that's very easy, just to show you how easy it is to rename something. And the other thing now, Scott, is I have a group down here called strategy and business. And so the requirements arguably sort of falls into this business discipline. So right mouse click on it there, and I'm going to say move, and going to get a group name. I've been talking to people about that group. So let me just go and get that group name there. And we'll put that in, and we'll say we're going to move to the strategy and business one. And you can see now that that's moved down there. And I can see that, there seems to be some sort of pattern here with the documentation thing. So I'll rename it again, and I'll comply with the standards, the urban parking system dash requirements publications. So there it is there. Now, that wasn't much work, Scott. This would be set up by a librarian or an administrator. Very easy to do. You might already have your own existing templates, so you can just copy those from your favorite word processor and paste them in to this strategy and business group here. So back to our project browser, and we've got that set up now. Let's have a look at requirements publications. Now let's go and press on the custom document. We've gone through a little bit of a circuit to get here, but I wanted to show you the importance of doing that. What's the document going to be called? Well, we're going to call it requirements overview. So that's it there, and I'll say OK. And now, Scott, you can see it's popped up a window saying new custom document from template. Now I can say none and just start it from scratch, or I can get one of the very many system templates there for all sorts of things, statement of architectural work, architectural roadmap, all sorts of things from TOGAF there, from the data warehousing architecture.
So lots of work has been done for you.
Exactly. But we did this one ourselves. And, as I said, I like to do things from first principles, which is why I wanted to show you that how to do that from scratch. And we were going to choose requirements publication there, say OK to that. And you can see now that that's moved into our document there. So let's do something else here. I want to make a bit more room for myself. So I'm going to choose the portals option over here, the workspaces. I'm going to go into wide view. And now you can see we've got a lot more room. I'm going to bring my browser back having done that because I want to grab some things from my browser, but you can see now we've got a lot more room. So I encourage you to use the portals and use parts of the tool that are going to help you be more productive. If you haven't seen how to use that portals window, we have a video on that. Please go back and look at that video at your leisure. Now we've got our document in here. You can see it came in with an executive summary there. There's a point in here where I can change this and say, requirements overview. So I can simply do that. And, I'm displaying some of the text that's part of our corporate standards there for the urban parking system. I'm going to put in a page break. So similar to your favorite word processor, I'm going to hit Control Enter, different page there.
Okay.
And now I'm simply going to drag the functional requirements package onto the canvas there. So I'll drop it there, and you can see now I'm asked for another template, Scott. And I'm going to come back and look at this template, but I wanted to get moving with this and show you some, about how this machinery all works. Simply going to choose a template again, and I've got a vast option of, of templates there, lots and lots of them, functional requirements there, use cases, all sorts of things. I'm just going to choose the functional report summary one there. So say OK to that, and some work is being done. And you can see now how quick that was. All of these requirements have just gone into the tool. So
I think it's worth pointing out that to create a requirements document like this for some companies would be weeks of work.
Well, exactly, Scott. Yeah, exactly. And the other side of that equation is that a lot of people might do their requirements in their favorite word processing tool or spreadsheet because they know that they can get the printout from that particular tool.
But what happens when a change is made? Because then it's just dead document.
Well, exactly, Scott. And also you're not relating things to to other parts of the repository. So the requirements are going to be implemented by use cases. They're going to be, there's going to be user stories that are implementing them, all sorts of different things that are going to be connected to these requirements. So the take-home message there is you don't need to confine yourself to using a word processor. You can do all of the great modeling work that you're doing here and then just generate the items directly out of here. So Scott, that's incredibly useful there. You can see that. Let's put in something else in here, and we can put in that, and we can put a diagram in here as well. So let's do that. Let's drag a diagram from there, and actually it says that we're inside a section there. So let's just put another page break in there so we can get to another page, and we'll drop our requirements diagram onto that one. And we are still in that top section. Do you want to continue? Yes, let's say yes to that then. And let's say we want a diagram report there. We'll say OK. And so our diagram goes in there, and you can see that functional requirements diagram, and we've got the diagram automatically put in. Scott, the useful thing, or one of the really great productivity features with this is that if we were to change one of our requirements, so let's go into here and have a look at one of our requirements here, and let's have a look at the payment. Let's have a look, the payment gateway integration. So we'll change this one here, and I'm just using my F2 key there, and I'm going to say the payment cloud gateway there. So that's on functional requirement number 2 there. So I'll change that. That's changed in the repository. You can see that. And let's go and see that requirement here, the payment, which was requirement number 2, payment gateway integration there. That was the one that we looking at. Now, if we now go into this one here and we say highlight the template, that's highlighting the whole template, and we can see what's part of our template and what's not. So this text at the beginning is not part of our template. Let's just unhighlight that for a minute. And if we go right mouse click on there and say update dynamic section. So this is the section that we're in, and we'll say Detect attempting to update the section functional. Yes, I'll continue with that. And now you can see our requirement, the payment cloud gateway has been put in. So the requirements are being updated. You don't need to worry about this, but you can see the importance of this because requirements can be in multiple diagrams. And so let's have a look at where that kind of thing exists. Let's have a look under these functional requirements here, and you can see that there are a number of different diagrams that elements can be part of. So they're part of a use case diagram. They're tied to an information model, a logical entity in a logical data model, and finally to a physical data model. They can be tied to a business case. So they can be related to lots of elements, and that's the advantage rather than doing it in a word processor. And the take-home message is, of course, you can get that directly out of Enterprise Architect. Now, I want to show you one other thing, Scott, because we didn't do this thing from first principle, but let's have a quick look at it. We look at this and we say, look, I like that, but I don't really like the way that these, this metadata is positioned over on the right there. I find it a bit distracting. We can talk to our librarian and say, let's move that. And so what we can do is we can go into our publish ribbon here, and we can say that we want to get a new template. So we'll go to the template editor there, and actually let's do it really from scratch, Scott. Let's just close that one for a minute, and let's go into our resources here, and let's say that we want a new template over here. So we'll go new template here. We'll say create a template, and we'll call this requirements. Over here, find something like that. So we could do this from scratch, but we can actually copy a template, Scott. So we can say, look, we actually did quite like that requirement summary report one, but we just needed to tweak it a little bit.
Tweak it.
Yeah, so let's go OK to that, and you'll see now that pops up. Now this looks, if you're a business person, this might look a little scary to you, but all it is a template for how the document's going to be created. And so what we've got is a package name there, and we've got the element name, which was our requirement. And if you look at it now, you can see that for the element, all of this information here is right aligned. And so all I can simply do is, all I have to do is just put my cursor in here and select all of this text, and use your favorite paragraph icons up here, and we'll say we want that left aligned. So it's left aligned now. Let's just do another change here. This would be part of your base template, the colors and things, but let's just do something for the sake of the exercise, and we'll change the color of that to this color here. And so we can see that it's quite different. So we've got our package name in blue, and then we're going to have our element names in this orangey color. And this is the one that's going to be cycling across the requirements. The package name will go in once for each package, and then the requirements that are part of that package will be going in multiple times. So let's save that, and we'll close that one. Let's go back to our document now. We've got our requirements overview there. Let's go back to our template here and make sure we can highlight that section. Yes, we can. So that's the section that we want in there. And let's right mouse click on here and now say change template. So now let's have a look. Our templates under custom templates come up, and we can close all these ones here. These are the system ones. We don't want to use those, make it a bit clearer.
And I can see our requirements overview aligned one that we just made.
Yeah, and so let's go OK to that, and let's the system do the work. And you can see now, Scott, that the requirement name has changed
aligned in orange.
And the and this is aligned there. So look, we have really just touched the edges of the capability inside Enterprise Architect. But this custom document is one of my favorite pieces of the publication tools and facilities, because it's so easy to get started. We've gone through things in first principle, but effectively you would have the template there, the base template there with the logos and everything on it, and you would also have the template to create these.
So does Enterprise Architect provide a whole lot of templates out of the box?
Yeah, Scott, we did look at those in passing
I saw hundreds of them. It looked like.
There's an incredible amount of them, and you saw how easy it was to change the template a little bit to make it more like what you wanted. And you don't have to have all this information there. We've got the name of the requirement repeated, the version, the phase, and the status that it's in. You may not want to have when it was created and last modified. You might want to take that out. You could put that in more detail. You could put the timestamp in there as well. But Scott, the interesting thing is that you can put in your own text anywhere. So if you wanted to put in some other text in here, you can put in text here, and you can say document history, something.
Yeah.
And you can insert a table or anything else that you wanted to do here. So lots of opportunities there. You can input images in. You can put a table in there and say, look, I want to put some information in there, and you can talk about who signed off on the document and all the kind of things that you would do. Now that's not affected when you generate the template, and that information can go in at any point in the document. Has to go in between these things, but I could put it in at the end somewhere or before different sections. And of course, I can just keep adding to this as well. So just to make sure that people are aware of that, I could just go, look, I want to put in my regulatory requirements as well. And so I could say, look, I'm going to control end. It's not there. I'll go control end on this document, and I'm right there now. And let's put in another page break there, and let's just drop in not those requirements, but let's put in our regulatory requirements there. We'll just drop those in there, and we'll say, we want that same there. And so now we've got our regulatory requirements, and I can drag things, from any package in the project browser that I want and put them in and assign, similar or different styles to each section. So Scott, as I said, we've just really just touched the edges of the capabilities, because if we go back to our publish ribbon, you can see that there's a report builder there, there's model documents, there's templates, there's dynamic previews, there's all sorts of things. And just to take it all the way home, Scott, with this is, once you've got this document, it's a breeze to actually print it out. We can just simply say save as export to file, and I'll say yes, I'll say no, I'll save it first, cancel that, save it first, and I can simply generate out that file. So here it is here. It's under publications there, and we can save that document there, and then we can open that up in our favorite document editor. We can also save that to, let me just bring that up and show you what it looks like in there, and in a minute we'll get that up. Just locating it in the reports there, and navigating to it, publications, there we have it, and let's just display that one, publications requirements report. See what I saved it as. I'm just going to look for that. I was going to generate it again. I wasn't sure exactly where I saved that to, so let me just do that again. I'll save as, and I actually saved it as HTML, Scott. And that's why I couldn't find it. So that brings up another interesting fact. So I saved it as HTML, but you can see HTML. It's text with breaks, RTF, text, DocX, HTML, and PDF. So let's do it to that one now and save it there. And now you'll see that I'll be able to find that publication easily.
It's all there. It's just as a web page.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Scott. And that's a useful thing. Obviously, you can generate it into HTML as well. So there it is. I'm bringing it up in a viewer there, and you can see now that we've got our document out in Microsoft Word. Now you can edit this document. Obviously, it is just a Microsoft Word document, or you can put it to your favorite editor through an RTF or any other format, and you can edit things in here. But I encourage you, Scott, to not to do that, to be able to generate the information directly out of Enterprise Architect. But what I can do is if I want to put, some information in at a particular point outside these elements, I could, put some extra information in here and, something like technical overview, something like that. And, that can then, I can apply all the styles and things to that I need to. So, look, that's it for this video. Scott, we've covered quite a bit here today, but I hope it's been useful for people.
I absolutely think it will be very useful, and it's so amazing that with just a few clicks you can generate out all of your requirements and have a great deal of control over how they look and what fonts you use and how they're laid out. So really quite valuable. And the update section, where you can update a dynamic section to get the latest and greatest, saves you having to do a lot of new printouts and things like that, and comprehensive editing. So really quite valuable. Yeah, update dynamic section, that was really a powerful feature. So to our audience, thank you for joining us again today. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, we encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to the Sparx Systems YouTube. If you have any questions about requirements documentation or documentation templates in general, you can reach out to Stephen Maguire using his LinkedIn and website credentials that are listed in the video description below. As always, thanks Stephen for showing us these rich, powerful features in Enterprise Architect. You make the documentation look very easy, and it certainly showcases the power of Enterprise Architect. Thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure, Scott.